Peace will fill the world when we finally understand that only from within can it be spread throughout the land. Every single person living peace in what we do, only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to Unity of San Luis Obispo, an inclusive, progressive, spiritual community affirming the good in all life. Welcome once again to our Sunday morning live stream. It is wonderful to be here, and I am delighted that you've chosen to join us for this special experience this morning. Well, two really important events took place this week, and we're going to be talking about both of them. One is the celebration of Earth Day. We'll be doing a very special meditation to honor and bless our planet. And we are also going to talk about new paradigms and changing the face of equal rights. So, let's take a moment and relax and prepare for our time together. We want to be in a calm place. We want to be in a relaxed space so that the thoughts and the ideas can be free-flowing inside of us, so that we're able to relax and not have that monkey mind that people talk about when they're asking us to be able to focus our attention. The monkey mind goes here and there and everywhere and has to be concerned about this and has its attention distracted from that and all kinds of things. But we want to be clear and calm and relaxed and poised because we are here for a very special time together. We don't always get this time during the week when we get to remember that we are expressions of spirit and that each of us is connected by virtue of creation. We are good by nature, created in love, and have so many opportunities to let our light shine and to see that light reflected to us from everyone and everything. So, breathe deeply and become comfortable. Relax right where you are. Be fully present. And let us affirm together, I am now open and receptive to the living spirit of truth. Once again, I am now open and receptive to the living spirit of truth. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning. Today we're going to sing When the Saints Go Marching In. Please sing along with the lyrics on the bottom of the screen. Oh, when the saints come marching in. Oh, when the saints come marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number when the saints come marching in. Oh, when the sun begins to shine. Oh, when the sun begins to shine. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number when the sun begins to shine. Oh, when my friends come in the room. Oh, when my friends come in the room. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number when my friends come in the room. Oh, when the love shines through in us. Oh, when the love shines through in us. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number love shines through in us. Oh, when the saints come marching in. Oh, when the saints come marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number when the saints come marching in. Oh, da da ba do ba ba de, ba da do da de. Have a great morning, everybody.
Thank you so much, Matthew, for that rousing and energetic rendition of that popular standard. And so now we feel alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic, and grateful that this past week there was a landmark decision that opened a new door in our ongoing quest for civil rights. Derek Chauvin was found guilty of the murder of George Floyd. And this is a new beginning for justice and equity in the court systems. Nothing's finished, mind you. It's just beginning, very much just beginning. And it took a tremendous tragedy in order for many of us, not only in this country, but around the world, to wake up to a need that has not been met for a very, very long time. And so I want to talk about shifting the paradigm. I want to talk about how we can play a tremendous part in this opportunity that lies before us right now to make things different this time, to not be excited for 3 weeks and then to fall asleep for another 10 years, but to truly, truly understand that we are the people and this is our time. I'd like to share a poem that was written by our wonderful poet laureate, Francesca Nemko. She has shared a very powerful perspective about a very powerful young person, and that is George Floyd's daughter. The poem is called Fatherless Child. Francesca says, one more fatherless child, Gianna Floyd, daughter of a black man whose life was not valued enough to allow him to breathe the same as any other human being. A fatherless child to seek justice for all black men and women. She's too young to be so burdened, and yet she has to stand up for justice as a victim herself. What a responsibility which she cannot escape. The rest of her life, she will be the poster child for racial injustice until and if something changes. Thank you, Francesca. A very powerful, powerful piece of poetry that calls our attention to this next generation and how much of a change we can help make for them. And so I titled our lesson for today, Reimagining a World for Gianna. Reimagining a world for Gianna. And so, what does that mean for us? It means that this time, as we approach a new wave of civil rights activity, we need to do it differently. Definitely need to do it differently. And all of this talk, I've been talking about the new paradigm for the last 25 years. A new paradigm is not that easy to enact, but we have wonderful opportunities to get keys and guidelines to help us understand how to do it. A new paradigm is much more than a change in vocabulary or a disciplined behavior that we have to watch. A new paradigm is a shift in consciousness. It's not coming from the outside. It's not something we have to put into ourselves through making ourselves do certain things and forcing ourselves to behave a certain way. It generates from within us. It generates from within us. It's already there. And what does that mean? It means that the nature of spirit, which is absolute good, love, unconditional, life, eternal, all of those attributes of spirit are within us, within the spectrum of our consciousness. And so we don't have to put anything in. It's already there. Now, is it shaped and formatted? Can we see it on a canvas, or can we sing it in a song? Well, that comes with having had that change made inside of us. The change is removing some of the old ideas inside of ourselves that have held court for all these years. Many of those ideas we don't really know we hold. We don't really know we have them. But then one day we realize that, maybe we do. Maybe we do need to make a change. And so, generally speaking, we start out by looking outside of ourselves, checking out other people's behavior and deciding that we have to adopt that behavior and that vocabulary. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work because it's not motivated by the only change maker that's actually legitimate and long-lasting, and that is our attitude, our core beliefs, those beliefs that motivate us to do things or not do things, to turn ahead or to turn away. All of those are motivated by our very core beliefs that reside within the spectrum of our consciousness. And so, in order for us to go ahead and be the change in terms of civil rights and understanding the importance of them and understanding our role in them, we're going to have to find the beliefs inside of the very core of our being that are so strong and powerful that no fear, no sense of lack or insecurity will be able to cloud them out ever again. And so we're going to talk about that after we hear a beautiful number from Brett Mitchell and Matthew J. Evans.
Here's a tune from Broadway, 1960s, Do Re Mi, music by Julie Stein and lyrics by Comden and Green. And the book and directed, it was by Garson Kanin, one of my faves. Make someone happy. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make someone happy. Make just one someone happy. Make just one heart, the heart you sing to. One smile that cheers you, one face that lights when it nears you, one girl you're everything to. Fame, if you want it, comes and goes in a minute. real stuff in life to cling to. Love is the answer. Someone to love is the answer. Once you've found her, build your world around her. Make someone happy. Make just one someone happy. And you will be happy too. Comes and goes in a minute. Where's the real stuff? The stuff to cling to. Love is the answer. Someone to love is the answer. Once you found her, build your world around her. Make someone happy. Make just one someone happy, and you will be happy too. Make someone happy, make just that one someone happy, and you will be happy too. Yes, you will. Comden and Green, Julie Stein, Gerson Kanan. Make someone happy.
Thank you so much, Brett Mitchell and Matthew J. Evans. Lovely, lovely rendition of that powerful song. Love is the answer. Love is the answer. And so let's keep that in mind when we're working toward practicing a new paradigm. One of the things that's most important in creating a paradigm shift is to change our vocabulary. Our vocabulary, or the way we define certain words, make a difference between staying in the old mindset and moving to a new mindset. And so today I've got 4 words that represent ideas that I'd like to share with you and ask you to think about them, ruminate upon them, meditate about them, and see if we can help through our words, through our contact with others, bring about a paradigm shift by changing the way we look at these words. Now, I believe that justice was served last week because I'm asking that we take a look at justice from a new paradigm perspective. To me, justice is an opportunity to make right something that has been askew, like the scales of justice, to be as balanced as we can, as balanced as we possibly can. But how many of us understand justice to be the same as punishment? Yeah, justice was served last week and he's going to be punished, and I want him to be severely punished until I feel better about what he did. Well, the fact is, and when you hear me say it, you see how silly it sounds, and yet it's a prevalent attitude in this culture of violence that we have been part of since the beginning of time. In a culture of violence, it's an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. So justice means you get your punishment. You have to suffer. You have to take what you did and live the rest of your life in abject pain so I can feel better about what happened. It's not going to work. It's not going to work that way. In the first place, justice has a higher meaning. It doesn't mean we don't do anything. And God forbid, it doesn't mean we say, now I know you did a wrong thing, so you just go out and you do better next time. I'm not saying any of that. But in our polarized thinking, it seems that when we talk about judgment, it does lean toward the punitive. Nothing is going to make us feel better about the murder of George Floyd. It was a tragic thing. It was a horrific thing. We watched it over and over and over again, and we mustn't forget it, because something like this can happen and does all the time. What do we want to do? How do we want to open up the criminal justice system and all of the legal system to embrace the idea of justice on a different level? Personally, I believe that putting Derek Chauvin in a place where he is not able to interact with others is a good idea. Relieving him of his duties is a good idea, because he's in a very great position to harm others. So we don't want to leave him out there. But for me, putting someone away, anyone, means putting them away to get structured rehabilitation over a very, very, very long-term period. Through exercise, through meditation, through medication, through therapy, through any possible holistic remedy on the face of the earth. All of it. Put the money into all of it. It is not going to serve humanity by making someone suffer the way they made someone suffer. Do you see? It's just not sensible. Not at all. So I would like to see us talk about justice and take a look at some of the bills that are coming through that might require our vote about making changes in laws that give people a wider, broader, deeper understanding of justice, because nothing will make that crime null and void. It happened. We need to take care of rehabilitating to the best of our ability the perpetrators, and then justice can be served when we remember that victim and use that experience to create greater and greater awareness for civil rights. That's what I call justice. So let's talk with one another about the idea of justice shared in a new way. The next word that I would like to see us change is responsibility. Responsibility is not the same as blame. And yet, when people talk about systemic racism, there is naturally a mention or an understanding of white responsibility. This should not be construed as blame. It is what it is. It is what it is. We, along with all others, for hundreds and hundreds of years, were born into a system of racism. Half the things we do, we don't even know we do. Half the things we say, we don't. And that's why so much attention is being paid to microaggressions. So when I say let's take responsibility, I know I wasn't a slave owner. I know I would never be a slave owner. I know that I don't want to be racist. But I also take responsibility for ways that I can inadvertently or unconsciously share something that would be better left unsaid. I am willing to take responsibility because responsibility is ownership, not blame. Am I ashamed that I did that and I should have known better? Sure. But that has no real room in the new paradigm. In the new paradigm, people make mistakes. It's perfectly normal. The problem is repeating those mistakes. It's not making them. So we make a mistake. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm going to go about making those corrections and move the heck on. I'm not going to try to argue with people. And as Matthew and I talked about in our Get Off Your Affirmation podcast, just because we didn't mean to do it doesn't mean we didn't do it. We did it. Okay, I'm responsible for what I say, what I do, and how open I am to learning how to be a more effective ally. So, that's my message to white allies in this moment. Responsibility is not blame. And when we talk about taking ownership, it's an act of non-resistance, not a martyr act. It's an act of non-resistance. Sure, I'll take responsibility for that, and by doing so, I can be part of the solution. The next word is equality. Equal rights, which seems to anger and upset quite a lot of people. And so I would like to remind you that in a new paradigm, equality does not mean taking privileges from one group at the expense of another. You have too much privilege, you have not enough privilege, let me take some of your privilege and give it to them. That's not what it means at all. When we come from a consciousness of love as the power, we understand that when we offer equality to others, it doesn't diminish us, it enhances us. It's a different meaning to a word that we've used. And it can be quite incendiary when people say, well, they've got too much and I don't have enough and I should have more and they should. We don't want to go there and we don't want to stay there because, again, that is a perfect vision of a culture of violence. You against me, against you, against them, against us, against... Let's use the term equal rights as though we were talking about the most delicious dessert. Equal rights, that means more for everybody. Let's tell people what we mean by that. Let's talk about it. Let's write about it. Let's live that experience. And again, when legislation comes along that talks about that, let us see this as an opportunity to really have everybody become freer and more equal than we ever have. And finally, the last word that I'd like to talk about, changing the meaning of today, is winning. Winning is win-win. We only win when everybody wins. That's the new meaning. The old meaning and the old paradigm is win-lose. People are talking about that and have been talking about that for years. How do we create an experience where winning means not at anyone else's expense. And please bear in mind that when I talk about winning, I'm not talking about an essay competition or an athletic game. I'm talking about people, and in the way we've been taught business, people who think they can win because others lose. Again, when legislation comes about and we get a chance to look at what bill our legislators want passed, let's check out those those policies, those laws, and let's see if it's win-win. And if it's not, well, we always have the opportunity to point out to our congresspeople, to the people who serve us, that we'd like to see a higher-minded solution. Reimagining a world for Gianna means that justice is served when people are respectfully and lovingly treated. Responsibility is not blame, but ownership. Equality is not taking away from one to give to another. Winning is not at the expense of others. Let's go with that. Let's talk about it. I'd love to hear from you. It would be so cool if you guys let me know what you think about those shifts in meaning. This is how we do a new paradigm. This is how we open it up. We need to qualify our terms. We need to make sure that our message is getting across. And if we are brave enough to point that out to others, if we feel that there's an inequity or an injustice there, then we can do that in love as well. This last week was the celebration of the 51st Earth Day. Prior to Earth Day, we celebrated Arbor Day, and we planted trees, and that was in honor of the earth, and that was lovely. And I remember Arbor Days, going with my family to plant trees and just blessing that event so we could be kind to Mother Earth. Since the Industrial Revolution, we have a lot more responsibility as all of that industry, which has done some wonderful things, takes its toll on the planet. We are now being severely threatened, and it's going to take every one of us to do something about it. Again, enacting legislation, speaking about it, joining organizations that support honoring our earth. And so as we go into our meditation in honor of Earth Day, let us give thanks for a new paradigm as we bless and honor our beloved planet Earth. Now is the time in our service where we bless our tithes and offerings. We give thanks that Unity of San Luis Obispo is blessed to expand our ministry by the gifts that you share. And if you valued this message and our ministry, please share with us your gifts. The divine law of giving and receiving says that both the giver and receiver are benefited richly by your gifts. And so let's speak the words of our prosperity affirmation together as we hold in our hand and in our mind the gift that we would share. Let us affirm together, I give in love because I love to give. God is my source.
Here's an instrumental I've titled In the Quiet Places. in the quiet places.
In the quiet places, so beautiful. Thank you, Brett, and thank you, Matthew. Let's sing our peace song, shall we?
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyful vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Let's speak the words of our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, if you enjoyed our service today, please press the like button and share it with your friends. Also, I invite you to listen to our Get Off Your Affirmation podcast this week. The title of it is The George Floyd Trial and the Journey to Human Rights. God bless you and have a wonderful week. You deserve it.
Every single person living peace in what we do. Only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true.